I lost everything tomorrow and I had to rebuild a seven-figure coaching business from scratch, right now in 2026, this is exactly what I would do with no audience, no money, no connections, no safety net. Just me, a laptop, and the system that I've used to build multiple seven-figure businesses. And I'm actually going to walk you through every single step over the next 10 to 12 minutes. My name is Michael. I've built multiple seven-figure coaching businesses in the music niche, and now I help other coaches scale without the overwhelm or burnout. But here's the thing. You do not need what you think you need. You don't need a big audience. You don't need expensive ads. You don't need years of experience. You just need a system. Here's the best part. You can start implementing this today, right after you finish watching this video. Most coaches think that the path to seven figures looks like they have to create the perfect offer. They have to then run expensive ads. They got to spend years building an audience and just pray that it works. But that is actually not how I did it. And that's not how my clients have done it either. I've helped clients literally go from less than $1,000 in their bank to over seven figures in under 2 years. They did not have big audiences. They did not spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ads. They simply used the exact system that I'm about to share with you. So let's break down the 7 steps that I would take if I had to start from absolute zero today. Step 1 is to pick your niche based on results, not passion. And this is actually where most coaches get it wrong. Everyone says, follow your passion, but passion doesn't actually pay the bills. Results pay the bills. If I'm starting from zero, I'm not asking, what am I most passionate about? I'm asking, what problem can I solve that people will pay me to fix? And here's how I would choose my niche. First, I would look at my past results. What have I already helped people achieve? Now, for me, it was helping musicians build sustainable careers. And that's proof that I can deliver results. Second is I would make sure that there's actually a market. Are people already out there paying others to solve this problem for them? If yes, then there's a market. If no, then you're going to spend years educating people instead of selling to people. And third, I would make sure that I can charge enough to hit seven figures. For example, if your offer is $100, you need 10,000 clients to hit $1 million. But if your offer is $10,000, you just need 100. So you can just do the math. Now, in my niche, that would be helping coaches in creative industries scale to seven figures without burnout. It's specific, it's proven, it's profitable. That's step 1. Pick your niche based on results, not passion. Now, once you have your niche, you need an offer. But not just any offer. You need a minimum viable offer, and that's step 2. Here's how to create a $3,000 coaching offer in 48 hours without building a massive course or really just overcomplicating it. Most coaches will spend months creating the perfect offer. They've got 17 modules, 47 videos, every possible question is answered, and then they launch, but nobody buys because they built something that nobody asked for. Now, if I'm starting from zero, I'm going to create a minimum viable offer in 48 hours. And here's what that looks like. In the first 4 hours, I'm going to outline the transformation. What is the before state? And then what is the after state? From there, I'm going to look at what are the 3 to 5 steps that it will take to get to the after state. Hours 5 to 8, I'm going to create a simple sales page, just one page. Headline, problem, solution, testimonials. Even if they're testimonials from past work, I'm going to include them. I'm going to set a price. And then I'm going to have a call to action. Hours 9 through 12, I'm going to record a 5-minute video explaining the offer. No fancy editing, just me, a camera, and clarity. And then hours 13 through 48, I'm going to rest, I'm going to refine, and then I'm going to prepare to sell, and that's it. My offer in this case is going to be a 90-day coaching program with 12 group calls. You're going to get access to me via a Kajabi community. And I'm going to give you a clear roadmap to your first $100,000. The price is going to be $3,000 for this coaching program. Why $3,000? Because it's high enough to attract serious people, but it's low enough that I do not need a huge audience to validate it. But here's the thing. You can't just create an offer and hope that people buy. You actually need to validate it. And that is step 3. Here's how to validate your coaching offer with 5 beta clients and make $7,500 before you officially launch anything. Now, if I'm starting from zero, I am not going to launch to the entire world. I'm launching ideally to 5 people. And here's how I would find my first 5 beta clients. First, I would reach out to my existing network. This could be friends, it could be former colleagues, just people I've helped in the past. And I would send them a personal message, and I would say something along the lines of, I'm launching a new coaching program. I'm looking for 5 beta clients. You're going to get the full program for 50% off in exchange for feedback and a testimonial. Are you interested? Secondly, I would post on social media that I'm launching a 90-day coaching program to help people in this niche achieve this particular result. I'm looking for 5 beta clients at 50% off. Direct message me if you're interested. Third, I'd ask for referrals from people I know. I'd ask them if they know anyone who needs help with this particular problem. My goal here is 5 beta clients at $1,500 each, and that's 50% off of my full price. That gives me $7,500 in revenue to validate the offer. But here's actually the real value. I'd actually get feedback, I'd get testimonials, and I'd get case studies. And that is worth so much more than the $7,500. After 90 days, I would have 5 success stories, I'd have 5 testimonials, and I would have proof that my offer works. Now, once you have proof, you don't need to build an audience. You just need to build a partner list. And that leads us to step 4. Here's why building a partner list of 20 affiliates beats building an audience of 20,000, and how you can do it in 30 days. Your affiliates already have a warm audience, and getting in front of a warm audience will fast track you to achieving the same result that would take you years to accomplish building an audience from cold traffic alone. So the first thing that I would do is make a list of 20 people in my niche who already have my ideal audience. These are coaches, podcasters, YouTubers, course creators. They're people with anywhere between 5,000 to 50,000 followers who are actively engaged. The second, I would engage with their content for a couple weeks. I'd comment, I'd share it, I'd DM them about their posts. I wouldn't do this to pitch them. I would just do this to build a real authentic relationship. And then third, I would offer value first. I'd promote their stuff however I could. I might introduce them to someone in my own network who might be able to collaborate with them on something. I would just lead with value. And then fourth is I would offer a partnership. I'd say something like, I have a 90-day coaching program that helps their particular audience achieve this result. I've already worked with multiple clients. I have these various testimonials. Would you be interested in promoting this to your audience for a 50% revenue share? And then fifth, I would just make this stupid easy for them. I'd provide them with email templates. I'd provide them with social graphics and tracking links and a clear promotional calendar. My goal here is to get 3 to 5 of those partners to say yes. Now, once you have partners, you execute your first launch, and that is step 5. Here's the exact 4-week launch plan that made me $96,000 in 1 week with just 3 partners, no ads, and no massive audience. Now, if I'm just starting out, my first goal with my first launch is $50,000, not $1 million, $50,000. Here's the launch plan. In week 1, we're going to do a pre-launch warm-up. This is where my partners are going to start sharing free, valuable content. This is going to be my best content, my frameworks, and my insight. We're not going to be doing any pitching. We're just going to be leading with value. And this builds trust. In week 2, this is all about social proof. My partners are going to share testimonials and case studies from my 5 beta clients. And this builds desire. In week 3, this is our launch week. My partners are going to announce the offer and that this is limited to the first 20 clients. I might even offer an early bird pricing for just $2,500 to the first 10 and then $3,000 after that. And then in week 4, this is our post-launch. I'm going to thank all my partners. I'm going to onboard clients, and I'm going to start delivering results. Now, let's do the math. If I have 3 partners with an average audience of 10,000 people each, that is 30,000 people seeing my offer. If 1% click through, that's 300 people who land on my sales page. And if 10% of those people buy, that's 30 clients. Now, at $2,500 to $3,000 each, that's $85,000 in revenue. Split 50-50 with partners. I'm going to keep roughly $42,000 of it. My partners are going to share the other $42,000. That's my first launch. Including the beta launch, that's a total of $50,000 in my pocket. It's proof of concept, and it gives me momentum. And here's the thing. Your first launch, it's not intended to make you 7 figures. It's intended to allow you to start systemizing and scaling your business. And that's what step 6 is all about. Here's how to systemize your coaching business so that you can handle 100 clients while working 20 hours or less a week. Because if your business depends on you, if it depends on you doing everything, then you don't really have a business. You just have another day job. Now, after this first launch in this scenario, I'd have roughly 30 clients. Okay, that's a lot of delivery. If I try to do everything myself, I'm going to burn out. So I would immediately start creating systems. First, I want to create a client onboarding system. I create a welcome email sequence, an onboarding video, and a clear roadmap. Now, this is all going to be automated. Second, I'm going to have group coaching calls instead of one-on-one calls. I'd run group coaching calls with the same content, and what that does is it gives me more leverage. I'm going to record every single call. I'm going to add it to a resource library. Third is I'm going to create a community inside Kajabi where my clients can support each other. I would hire a community manager to handle the daily questions that come into the community and basically just manage the community. And then fourth, I would batch create content once a month. That includes 4 YouTube videos, maybe 20 Instagram reels, a couple carousels. They're all going to be scheduled in advance so that I'm not chasing after my social media campaign to try and bring in organic traffic. Fifth, I would hire a VA to handle a lot of the admin. That includes emails, scheduling, posting that content that I'm creating, and of course, maybe even dealing with customer support. The cost is going to be roughly $3,000 a month for the VA and the community manager. But once these systems have been created, I can now handle between 50 and 100 clients without working more than 20 hours a week. So systemize everything so that you can scale. Now, once you have the systems, you simply rinse and repeat, and that is step 7. Here's the exact launch sequence that took me from my first $96,000 to over $1 million in under 22 months with the same offer and the same partners. After you have your first launch behind you, you now have proof, you have testimonials, and ideally you have systems in place. So the next step is to scale, and here's the plan. On month 4, you're going to launch again with the same partners. Now, I wouldn't count on all of them joining in on this launch, so consider adding in 3 to 5 new ones. Your goal here is $100,000 for this particular launch. Then in month 7, you're going to launch again. You're going to open up the opportunity to all your previous affiliates, and you're going to want to add in an additional 5 to 10 new partners. Your goal with this launch is $200,000. Then in month 10, you're going to launch again with a minimum of 10 partners promoting this. Your goal is $250,000. And if we do the math, our first launch generated $50,000. Our second launch, our goal here is $100,000. Our third launch is $200,000. And our fourth launch is $250,000. That is a total of $600,000 in year 1. Not bad. Now, in year 2, I would actually double down. I would get more partners. I might even raise my prices a little bit, and I would do bigger launches. I would plan on my 5th launch bringing in somewhere around $300,000, my 6th launch bringing in somewhere around $350,000, and my 7th launch bringing in somewhere around $400,000. That right there is a total of $1 million just in year 2. As we lead into year 3, I would add a high-ticket mastermind that's somewhere around $20,000 to $25,000, and that's the path. Simply rinse and repeat it. All right. So let me recap the entire blueprint for you. Step 1 is to pick your niche based on results, not your passion. Step 2 is to create your minimum viable offer in 48 hours. Step 3 is to validate your offer with 5 beta clients. Step 4 is to build your affiliate partner list, not your audience. Focus on the partners first. Step 5 is to execute your first $50,000 launch. Step 6 is to systematize everything so that you can scale. And then step 7 is to rinse and repeat up to 7 figures. That is the exact blueprint I would use if I had to start from $0 right now today. So here's my question for you. Which step are you most looking forward to implementing? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your response will help me create more content like this in the future. By the way, if you found this video helpful and interesting, I have a free ebook called 7 Simple Steps to a 7-Figure Business, where I show you how to build a thriving coaching business without overwhelm or burnout. There's a link on this page to get a copy for yourself. Anyway, you now have the exact blueprint on how to build a 7-figure coaching empire from scratch, starting today with no audience and no ads. I hope this was informative and that it was impactful for you. I love this stuff. This stuff changed my life. I hope it changes yours as well. We'll talk to you soon.